LR, the liberal redneck here, coming to you from a country that is finally realizing that the best man for the job is a woman. Hillary Clinton should have been the first woman to lead our country, but FBI Director James Comey sabotaged her campaign at the last minute and should be in prison as a result. The Harris-Trump debate reminded me of General George Armstrong Custer at the Little Bighorn. It was a massacre. The coup de grace came after the debate when singing star Taylor Swift announced her support for Harris with a link for her fans to register to vote. In 24 hours, 400,000 had used the link. GOP vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance demonstrated his cluelessness with his response to Swift's announcement. Quote, "I don't think many people are going to be influenced by a billionaire celebrity who I think is disconnected from the interest of the problems of most Americans," end quote. Unfortunately for J.D., that is a perfect description of his boss. Newsman Chris Wallace responded to the debate with more bad news for Trump. Quote, "Kamala Harris pitched a shutout on almost every subject I can think of. She shut down Trump on women's choice, on January 6th and democracy, on national security and democracy. She looked happy and smiling, and Trump looked scowling and old," end quote. Brit Hume on Fox News said, quote, "Make no mistake, Trump had a bad night. She baited him, and he took the bait every time. We heard so many of his old grievances, like not losing 2020, which are political losers. This was Kamala Harris's night," end quote. Famous Republican pollster Frank Luntz said, quote, "Trump lost the election Tuesday night. His comments about people eating cats and dogs, calling the dictator of Hungary one of the greatest leaders in the world, it was a pessimistic, cynical, contemptuous performance. I'm going on record. I think he loses the election because of this debate performance," end quote. Robert Gates, former defense secretary under George W. Bush and Barack Obama, had this to say, quote, "I believe Mr. Trump is beyond repair. He is stubbornly uninformed, temperamentally unsuited to lead our men and women in uniform. He is unqualified and unfit to be commander-in-chief," end quote. Presidential historian Michael Beschloss declared, "From start to end, Kamala Harris delivered what is easily one of the most successful presidential debate performances in all of American history," end quote. Not to be outdone, Vice President Harris delivered some gems of her own. Commenting on Trump's willingness to let Russia attack Poland, she said, quote, "Why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor, and what you think is a friendship with a dictator who would eat you for lunch," end quote. Then there was the comment that will go down in history. When confronted by the fact that most of the people in his administration had refused to endorse him, Trump declared, "I fired all those people because they were incompetent." Harris countered with, 81 million people fired you." Thanks for listening, and remember to remove this skid mark on our national integrity by voting blue.